Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. It is Saturday morning and I don't often upload a recipe video on Saturday mornings anymore, but I really wanted to get this one out quickly. It's time sensitive because these are in season again. And if you don't know what this is a Meyer lemon. This is a regular lemon and these are Meyer lemons, and I don't know if you can tell, but the Meyer lemons have a slightly different color. It's because they are a cross between a regular lemon and a mandarin orange. Now, these are native to China. And in China, apparently, they were grown mainly as an ornamental. They were brought to the United States, and they're grown in California. And they're one of those crops that still sort of conforms to a season. We really only see them here around the same time that key limes show up, and blood oranges seem to show up at the same time, as well as Seville oranges, which are a bitter orange. So I'm going to make a cake with them. And just like the cake that we did a while back on the Sunday Morning Old Cookbook show, it was a honey orange cake. You start out by cooking the lemons whole. I'm going to plop them into this pot. I've got water in this pot. The water is already hot. I'm going to put a cover on. I'm going to bring it up to a boil, and then take it down to sort of a high simmer and a low boil, somewhere in the middle. And I'm going to boil them for half an hour before we move on to the next step. This is cornmeal that I'm cooking for our recipe that's going to be on the Sunday Morning Old Cookbook show. We're doing a 1930 recipe for tamale pie. And that should come out in sometime in the next month or so. So I just have to every once in a while give this a stir as it cooks. Now, the lemons have cooked and they've shriveled up quite a bit. I've put them in the fridge. I'll let them cool down so that they're easier to handle. Now, normally this is the point in the recipe where I would slice them open and then take out all of the seeds. And every time I do that, I lose a lot of juice. And I think to myself, I'm sticking them in the food processor anyway because I'm going to puree them. I wonder if I don't take the seeds out, am I going to notice? Will the food processor puree it down to the point where the seeds are, not a problem? Now, if the food processor looked a little dirty, that's because I've already ground up some almonds. And so I took whole almonds, put them in the food processor, ground them up until they're, a fairly fine meal. And to that, I'm going to add baking powder, salt, and the flour that was in this bowl. Doesn't have to be a super homogeneous mixture, just, as best you can. Now, I'm going to say that looks good. We're going to move on to the next step, which is I need to separate 5 eggs. Okay, so I did get a little bit of yolk into the egg white. I broke one of the yolks. It's not ideal, but it's not the end of the world, so don't fret. It'll be okay. Okay, last yolk. In goes the sugar. And then I just start whisking. So this will whip up into a really nice, frothy, pale yellow. And so now to the egg, we're going to add some vanilla and some almond extract, just to amp up that almond flavor a little bit. Be careful with the almond extract. And then in goes the lemon puree. Now, I have a feeling I'm going to run out of space because my big mixing bowl is over there playing the part of double boiler. So I think it's going to be tough to get this all mixed together. So as we start to mix this in, we want to add in our mixture of flour and almonds. Start bringing this together. I am going to have to switch to a bigger bowl, but in the meantime, I need to whip these egg whites to stiff peaks. Okay, so stiff peaks. Now, even though I got a little bit of yolk in with the egg whites, it's not the end of the world. They still whip up just fine. A lot of people put too much emphasis on the yolk getting into the whites and ruining everything, to the point where people think that they just need to toss it out and start over. And you don't have to. Just do your best to take the little bits of yolk out and then try to whip it up. And if it whips up, great. And if it doesn't whip up, you were going to throw it out anyway. So at that point, just start over. But always try to fix your mistake, even though it's, it's going to happen. And there's not really a whole lot that you can do about it. So I need to fold the egg whites in. But as always, you take the first quarter to third and you just mix it in to get it in there. And that lightens the whole batter so that it will be easier to fold in the next third and then the next third. Looking good. Now, I have a 9-inch springform pan that I have greased on the inside with butter and then dusted with flour. Probably not strictly necessary because it is a non-stick pan. I do it out of habit, and I would suggest that you do it too, just to be on the safe side. Of course, you could also put a parchment disc in the bottom that would help it release even easier. Now, get the batter in there. The oven is preheated to 350 degrees, and this will bake for about an hour.
All right, cake. Hello, friends.
Having some cake. Let's get a knife, see if we can cut this up. So, this is Meyer lemon cake, because Meyer lemons are in season.
It's a lemon cake.
Yeah. So I've sprinkled powdered sugar on top, icing sugar, confectioner's sugar, powdered sugar, whatever you want to call it.
Huh.
You could glaze it. You could take another Meyer lemon, squeeze it, juice it, boil it down to a little bit of a syrup.
You could do glaze, yeah.
You could glaze it on top. You could slice some Meyer lemons super thin, cook them in a syrup, and then put them on top to make it look, fantastic.
You have options.
Lots of options to finish this cake. Or you could just put powdered sugar on top, because that's...
Or nothing.
Or nothing, because that's really all it needs. So go ahead, dive in.
I get first dibs?
You do.
Woohoo. You weren't slow in getting second dibs.
No. Let's see. It's a weird lemon, because because the lemon is this lemon is a cross between a lemon and a mandarin orange.
Okay.
So it's not super tart.
When you eat a piece of cake, you're not thinking to yourself, oh, I'm expecting it to be tart.
Yeah.
You have a preconceived idea of a level of sweetness that comes with cake.
Yes.
So in that way, it is tart.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
it's a very good cake.
There is a tiny little bit of a bitter component, and that's because you cook the entire lemon and then chop it up. You could, if you wanted to eliminate all bitterness, peel the lemon, leave the pith behind, boil the lemon peel, juice the lemon, and throw out the pith.
And it may not be any different or much different.
You would come to almost the same point. You would cause a lot more work and come to almost the same point. I would, however, say I did an experiment this time.
Okay.
I didn't take out the lemon seeds.
Yes.
Left them in and ground them in the machine.
Is that the chewy bits?
That's almond.
Ah!
So
Almond.
most
I didn't taste the almond at all.
No, the almond is very, very subtle. There's more almond than there is flour.
Huh.
I left those seeds in. You're not going to notice the seeds, but the seeds may be adding somewhat to that bitter flavor. So if you want to, pull them out. All in all, I think this is a really good cake. You can make it with any lemon. You can make it with orange. As long as you use about the same amount of citrus, you can mix it up and put any citrus in there that you want.
It'll all taste great.
It all tastes great. So while Meyer lemons are in season, you might want to give this one a try. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.